friends, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new here, my name is Crystal, better known as your Leo best friend. I am posting weekly videos of the steps that I took on how to heal my inner child. Before I get started, I want to give a big announcement. It is that it is officially Leo season, and if there's anything that I can recommend to you guys, it is to go out and give your favorite Leo some attention and some love. If there's something that us lions love, it is attention and love. This week's episode, I want you guys to use your imagination for a little bit. Imagine that we're sitting together at a coffee shop. So grab, if you're home, if you're wherever you are, go grab a little tea, grab a little coffee. I have mine, I have my little tea here. And just imagine that me and you are sitting down at a coffee shop and we're about to have a fun conversation. And with being at a coffee shop, just imagine that we're waiting on one more friend because that is another announcement that I have for this week. I have a special guest coming in. Before I bring her in, I do want to dive into what this video is going to be. You guys off last week at step number 12, so this week I'm going to dive into step number 13. With step number 13, it is going to be talking about loss. Last week on my video of how when you go through this process of releasing all the trauma and really discovering who you are, you go through a rebirth process and really you lose that identity. And I feel like nobody talks about the grief that it takes to go through this process and really grief that it takes to go through any transformation that you go through in your life. Because not only is healing a big transformation, but also for women, it is also becoming a mother. And I feel like a lot of the times no one talks about that grief that you have to go through from losing that old identity that you were, because now you're a whole mom. And for me, I'm a whole new person now. I let go of that version of myself that was living in survival, and no one really talks about that grief of losing that past version of yourself. Talking about grief, I feel like this is a really touchy subject because it can be different for everybody, but there are 5 steps to grief. And I did read a book and it's called The Gift of Fear. In this book, they talk about how emotions are emotions. No one feels some less, no one feels some more. We are human and we all feel the same emotion. We all feel it different, but it all comes down to feeling the same emotion. So when someone says like, oh, you don't understand, you're not a mom, like you don't know the feelings that comes with it. Okay, you probably don't, but you know what? I've been through so much transformation that I probably know how it feels to grieve that past version and step into someone else that you are trying to be. And I mean, it just goes with the whole transformation process. And so, not that I'm trying to like tell you guys how to be moms, no, I'm just here to talk about the gist of it, which is grief and which is loss and transformation. With talking about grief, before I bring our friend to the table, I want to give the 5 steps of grief just briefly, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it when I bring my guest along. Steps of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, and acceptance. And this comes with losing someone as well when someone passes away, but it also comes with losing your identity and losing your old self. And how I said, I will dive more into these steps, but let's go ahead and bring our friend, my amazing cousin, to the table. You guys have probably seen me refer to her as Snow. So let's go ahead and welcome Snow in. Let's grab our teas and welcome Snow to the coffee table. Cheers. I'm so excited. Welcome to my channel, Snow. I refer to her as Snow, guys, because I always have, but do you want to just introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm so happy to be here with you. Well, my name's Dianna, and I do go by Snow. My middle name is actually Nieves. So the closest people to me always, and Crystal has called me Snow since day one, since we were young. So we are cousins. We live in different states, but we did grow up with each other. And I don't know what should I say about me? About me.
Anything. You're a mom, so I think I did a little introduction and
Yes.
I said that, so with everything, I guess let me just start over. So with this episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive into step number 13. And with step number 13 is to talk about loss and grief and really transformation. And I truly feel like that no one has undergone a transformation like you. I mean, we all go through things, but I feel like your transformation, seeing it unfold and seeing you as well has like been huge for me and just like fills my heart with like joy because it's like I see you trying so hard, and so it's like I just want to give people that little glimpse of what it really feels like from someone else that is going through that transformation process. And so I have some questions for you here at our little coffee shop. I told everybody to imagine that we're at a coffee shop. So picture it. I mean,
Our coffees. We have our coffee. So
we have,
yes, I'm
I have my
excited.
tea.
Oh,
I have tea.
thanks, Crystal, for that. I felt that was beautiful,
Oh,
and I'm excited to share. I feel like it could benefit a lot of people to hear
anything, right?
anything. Any,
So I have my little question, so I'll just dive right in. Again, she is a mom, guys, and how old is Dianna?
she is 5.
Okay,
I
kindergarten.
know. She's 5. She's starting kindergarten this year.
How exciting. Okay, so I have some questions for Dianna that go along with grief and go along with loss. And I just want to hear her version and want you guys to hear where she is really coming from and hear from her. Because I can say all this stuff about her. I can talk about her for hours, but I really want you guys to hear about her and her experience because, how I said, we all experience things differently. And so
Yes.
I'll just dive right into the questions. The first question is, what has so, and we know like you went through motherhood. How old were
Yes.
you when you had Nadia?
I was 21 years old. I was
21. Okay.
pregnant, yeah, at 21, but I was still 21 when I had her.
21. So, I mean, I feel like everybody says you're an adult at 21, but I don't really feel like we are. Just to
I
be
was,
honest, like mentally wise, I don't feel like a
no,
lot of us are. So, we know you went through that transformation when you were
yes.
21. You went through the
Mhm.
transformation of having a daughter. And then also, you went through the transformation, just like I did, of letting go of that trauma identity that we used to have. So, the
Yes,
first question is, what has it meant for you to lose old Dianna, quotation marks, old Dianna, and
right.
then motherhood? And to go along, so I'll let you answer that, but along with that question is, what has been your biggest challenge?
I think my biggest challenge, I mean, it was a huge change for me. I mean, motherhood completely changed my life forever. And I don't think I have ever said, like I said, I'm going to be vulnerable in this YouTube because I want people to see a real conversation between us. And it's just what I feel. Um, I honestly didn't want to be a mom. I didn't think I was going to be a mom. And it was scary. It was new and it was different. And motherhood was a huge challenge for me. I was 21 and I really felt really, really young. Because I know what you said, people say like, oh, 21, or at least over 18. But it's like, no, I feel like, I mean, we're never going to be prepared for, new moms. You can do as much as you can, but you don't know it until you live it, until you feel it. So that motherhood was such a huge change for me. But from old Dianna to Dianna that I am now, what I would say the biggest challenge was the behaviors that I grew up with or that I was always doing.
Mm.
Just things that I got used to doing
The
that
behaviors we learn.
the behaviors that we learned that I was right or wrong, I was doing them because I was just so used to being taught these behaviors. And so even till now, I am trying to be a better person. So I will notice them. I will really avoid anything that I know is going to trigger a bad behavior. So those have really been huge for me. If you were to meet Dianna a year ago, she's so different now. And I love her. I love that part of me. She needs a lot of love. She went through a lot. But thinking of that to where I'm at now, it's just hard on me sometimes. Because if things would have been done differently, I think of that all the time, where what would have changed for me or what else would I have done. But yeah, I mean, the behaviors are probably the main thing that has been
Biggest
harder.
challenge.
Yes.
Well, I think the thing that I can use, like the analogy it came to my head when you were saying that, is I feel like we're robots. Like we're just wired into what we know.
Yes.
And it's just like we're going through life every single day. And then you get out of that like robot stage, which I feel like goes with the change. And you're
Right.
like, oh my God, like how was I living like that? Or how was I doing this? And that it goes along with the grief process, that bargaining, like what
Yeah.
is like, so it's like part of the process that you're grieving that old version. And you said it, like she just needed love.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Exactly.
a lot of the times, like that's really what everybody needs. In the beginning of this, I said that Leos love love and attention. But I really feel
Mhm.
like it's every single person, regardless if you're
We
a
all
Leo,
love it.
regardless whatever
We
you
all
are.
have craved
We
it.
all
Yeah.
need it. We all need it as human beings. We all need it. No, yeah. So thanks for being so vulnerable with you because I feel like for me, at least, like when I started going through this process, like when I
Uh-huh.
was younger, I always said, I want to be a mom. I want to be a mom. And then when I
And I
went through
do
this
remember that.
process, I was like, I don't want to be a mom anymore. Like, I don't want kids. Like, I don't. What if I mess them up? Like, I don't want that. And
Right?
I feel
It's
like that goes with the denial. Like, you go through
yeah,
the a denial process too of like, oh, I don't want to mess my kid up. I don't want to like, and then not only like parenting, but the world is so different now. Like,
yes.
it's just so much. And so obviously like my outlook has changed now and I would love to be a mom one day. But I feel
And
like there's this you have to go through those little
yeah,
processes of like, I don't want to be a mom or I don't. And obviously your view probably has changed now, right?
yes. That's what I was about
Right?
to say when you said that. I was like, oh my gosh, God made me a mom for this reason. I am obsessed and in love with everything I do in
Mm,
motherhood, from the bad days where I don't even want to get out of bed to the happiest days I've ever been. I would change nothing. I give thanks to God every day for motherhood. And it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Amazing.
I love
Women
that.
are amazing. Being a
I
mother,
love
being
that.
a parent.
I want to add in here, I feel like with motherhood, because the other questions are more for like inner child healing, this is just
Right.
like a little bit with motherhood. And I feel like it has to do with so much of everything too.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and I think I've told you this quote so many times, but it's like every different version of us requires a new you. And
Mhm.
so, really trying to discover and find yourself after motherhood, I can just imagine how hard that was because I just went through a whole transformation of losing that trauma self to really just living presently and really living more consciously. So it's
Right.
huge. Like any change just requires a new version of you. Like you mentioned it in the beginning that I moved. So that
Yeah.
required a new version of me. And then motherhood required a new version of you. And it's just like, I feel like we always have to reinvent ourselves and get
Yes.
out of that robot mode, really.
Yes. And just love yourself. You're still you. You moved.
Yeah, you're
You're
still
still you.
yourself.
I
I'm
had a
still
kid.
me.
I am still me. I need
Mhm.
to remember that when I wake up. I'm not just,
You're,
a mom. I'm a woman. I'm
mhm.
beautiful. I'm smart. I can do so many things with motherhood as well. It
I
doesn't
love,
stop you.
I absolutely love that. Well, thanks for being vulnerable because that it takes a lot, especially in front of a camera. I feel like a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's just posting a YouTube channel," but no, it's not. It's a
No,
lot more.
this is raw. This is from in here.
Okay, so the next question is with talking about loss and grief. Yes, there's a loss that comes with losing ourselves, and I feel like a lot of people don't look at it that way. Of
Right.
you have to grieve yourself. People
Yes.
really look at grief and loss as just like someone passing away.
Mhm.
And for you, I know that there was a loss that you experienced as a child. Can
Yes.
you tell us about that loss? And then what have you learned from it today versus you then?
Right. So when I was 5, 6 years old, I lost my father. Um, and I was 5 or 6, and sorry, I might stumble a little and mumble more with this one because it just really hits.
This is a safe
Um,
space. Safe space.
yes, yes, it is. And it, I feel safe. It was, it was sad. I was angry. Um, I was angry with God. I was angry with my dad. I was angry with just my family, just everyone. I was just so angry even when I would see, um, and this is a touchy subject, like even when I would see parents with their mom and dad and like the kids, I would get angry seeing that because I wanted that. I I thought I was going to have all that. So I just felt really lonely. I felt like I was just almost an outcast because everyone has a dad. Everyone has dads, like, um, and it wasn't so much like social media, but like that I would actually just see families together and that would hurt me. And my mom did the best she could, but I always have missed my dad and I never will stop missing him. But I was so angry, Crystal, um, which it would come to drinking, which would come to the bad behaviors, just lashing out, um, not worrying about my words, about who I'm hurting, about what I'm saying, who's going to be affected. I was just, I didn't know how to grieve. I didn't want to grieve. I didn't want to let go of my dad. Um, And it's been a journey. It's been really hard. But I can tell you that that was on me then. And just recently, maybe a year ago, was when I started healing and really just loving myself and seeing things, is when I am finally able to say that I'm okay with my dad's death. And that is like, and it feels
That's
good.
huge for you.
I
That's
know.
huge for
I
you.
felt that when I said that right now, because I mean it. With my whole heart, with my whole soul, my whole body. I mean it when I say that I am okay with his death. Um, God has a plan, and a higher power, and I can feel it, and I'm okay. I can look at pictures of my dad now and not cry. I can show Nadia pictures of her grandpa and not cry, and tell her, yes, grandpa died, and I don't cry. I'm not angry. I don't need to. I gave that peace for myself because I was not okay. I completely lost myself. And everything just started piling up where it just got to a point where I didn't even want to live. And this was in high school. And I just had enough. It was on top of everything else that I have lived with. But my dad's death was always in here, um, all the time. And I wouldn't talk to anyone. I
Yeah.
didn't know who to come to say these things to. Uh, And when I did, I would get, it's okay. Things happen. Your dad loved you, but it just didn't feel like it's okay to be angry, Dianna. No one ever told me it's okay for you to be mad that your dad died. You could feel. It's okay to feel.
Where do you think that anger came from?
Um,
Because it's part of the process. Like I know it's part of the grief.
yes,
Um, but I do feel like that anger, do you, or I guess this is just coming to me, so I'm gonna say it. Do you think we
yes,
create that anger because you said it yourself, like you were looking, like you grew up with, so we grew up with like in a group of like cousins, guys, and so like
right.
me, I had my dad, and then
Yes.
one of our other cousins had her dad as well.
Mhm.
So I feel like in our heads we're always like, well, she has a dad, she has a
Yes.
dad, and then that anger kind of, do you think that that's kind of like
Yes,
where it
I
came
built
from?
it.
Like,
I think it
you
was
think we
sad.
build it?
Yes, I think it was all me. All the pain I caused it to myself. But because I didn't
That's, I
know how
think that's
to
the
feel,
difference. Yeah, process
deal with
it.
my feelings, process my feelings, how I do now. Now, if um, and I don't want to think about if there was ever a death or anything really big that happened to me. I know how I can handle it, how I can feel it, and how I will come out of it okay.
Mm.
I'm not going to go back to those bad habits. I'm not going to go drink because I'm so sad. That's because I'm not there anymore. I'm not at that place anymore. Um, and it's I'm still healing and I'm still grieving my dad. And I don't know if I will ever not, but I know that I am better today than I was yesterday and the day before and the day before. So for that, I can say that yes, I feel like I caused all that to me because I was a kid and I just didn't
You
know
didn't
how to.
know. And I
Mm-mm.
feel like not only because it comes with like emotional maturity and everything like that. So I feel like that just gives like a little glimpse of what we can create
Yeah,
is those like
be dangerous.
it can be dangerous. Like not only as like kids, like you're doing this, but if you have an emotional maturity of let's say you're 20, for me, let's take me for example, I'm
Uh-huh.
27 and 2 years ago I had the emotional maturity of probably like a 10-year-old. So it's
Mm,
like once you
that's
start growing and maturing, then that's when you really start being more open and stop creating those what ifs, those like I get it like that we're gonna go through the stages of anger, but it's like
right.
you know how to feel it instead of like because I feel like there's like a feeling that comes into our body or to our wherever you feel it in your body, there's a feeling that
Yes.
comes. And since we don't know how to deal with that feeling, then that's when our brain is like takes over and it's like overthinking, overthinking. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Yep.
the more that we get really into like and that's what you've learned, right, along the way of like how to really feel that sadness, how to feel that anger and really release it. And we don't really, I don't really feel like that's talked about a lot. And we experienced a loss together, which was our grandma. We lost
Yes.
her, what has it been now? Like 7 years?
Yes. Oh, we just went to her.
7 years. It's been 7 years
Well,
that she passed away. And I feel like a lot of us didn't really know how to process that either because
no.
we, I
Mm-mm.
feel like that just kind of put like a damp in our family dynamic. Like I feel like she was like the glue. And since none of us knew how to process it, we kind of all really separated a little bit. And I know I moved, but I feel like for a
Right.
little bit, we kind of all separated,
No, yes, yes. And I
right?
know
Like
she talks about it, and it did happen. It was sad.
it
Um,
was so sad.
Even
Like
to think
I,
of now that it's when we needed to help each other the most and talk to each other. I don't think we ever really talked
we
about it either.
knew how, no, right?
I
Yeah,
just
it's,
cry myself to sleep and call it good for a few nights, but
mm,
I didn't have anyone to talk to. We might have talked to, my boyfriend then, now my husband, but I wanted something else,
right.
something
We all,
closer to my grandma, to a hug or something.
when talking about like grief and talking about loss, um, and I know that I feel like loss is something that, I mean, obviously we can't avoid. Like we're gonna have loss of pets, we're gonna have loss
Yeah,
of family members, we're gonna have loss of people that are still living. I feel like you have to grieve people that aren't in your
mhm,
lives anymore either.
that one.
And I don't know, I feel like loss is just something that is in bed. Like I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but you can't
Right.
avoid loss. Like it's a
No.
cycle. We're here, we live, we pass away, and I feel like that sounds kind of dark, but it's the reality. And I feel like the more that we do talk about like death and loss, is the more that like we don't get attached to this
Right.
sadness
Make it
because
something that's okay.
yeah, because we get attached to this sadness and we get addicted to it. Like, oh, this
Yes.
sadness, this pity, this victim. I lost this, I lost that. Okay, but
Mhm.
don't like you can feel all that. Go ahead and feel everything you want, but don't stay there. Like
Yes.
what
Yes.
can you come out of you losing your dad? What can they come out of losing whatever? Like come out of that and rebirth that whole process.
Listen to you forever. So, I mean, for all
Right.
the listeners, Crystal's an angel.
Oh,
They are
thank you.
true and they are honest, and you couldn't have said it better. What can you come out from this? This happened to you. You're grieving it. Now what? What's
Mhm.
next? And it's
What's
like,
next?
what's next? It's like, okay, that happened, and I'm stronger, and
I felt it. I feel it. I'm sad. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be
it's
angry.
okay. Mhm.
It's
And I might cry
okay.
about it again, and that's fine. I'm gonna cry,
Exactly.
and then I'm gonna wake up and I cried. That's it.
Release.
I
You
let it out.
release.
What was
Yeah.
stored in there. Yes.
Mm, I love that. I did find a quote about grief that I want to
Okay.
mention, and it goes and it says, grief is really just love. It's all the love you want to give but cannot. All that unspent love gathers up in the corners of your eyes, the lump in your throat, and in the hollow part of your chest. Grief is just love with no place to go. I feel like not until someone passes away or until you lose someone, that's when you're like, I could have done this, I could have done that. But then that's overthinking too. And so,
What ifs? You could sit in
yeah,
your bed all day with what ifs.
but
Nothing's
learning and
going to
telling
change.
yourself, like, I gave them the love that they needed during their lifetime. I
Yes.
gave them everything I could. Because
Everything.
if not, you're going to stay there, right? You're going to stay in that I should have done this more. I should have done this more. I
Yes.
should have called them more. Okay, but
Right.
we could do so much every single day. So what can you do today? Right? I guess, I don't know. I'm going to move
No.
on to the next question.
No. We could be here forever on this topic.
All right. So the next question is with Laud, like come back, come back. um, what does inner child healing mean to you?
Mm, this one. I know we've talked a lot with each other, and I know you've been helping me a lot with this one. Well, to me, it means going back to take care of little Dianna. And I mean, this conversation could get really deep just because inner child, me and you have had so many conversations. Well, I don't want to say something too confusing, but it's something where you go back to those traumatic moments that I know it sounds you don't want to. It happened, you just want to move past it. But um, like we were talking about it earlier, I mean, we never grieved that. We never took care of that thing that happened to us as a childhood, which now as adulthood, I'm doing things because of that thing that happened to me that I was never able to heal from.
Mm-hmm.
So to me,
Were those
it's
cycle?
yes, where, and then, what's next? I'm going to repeat it with my daughter. Like, no, it stops with me. That is why for me, I'm not just healing my inner child for me, for Dianna. I'm doing it for my family, for my daughter, and my husband, because if I'm not okay, how can I take care of them? How can I be 100% Dianna with them if I don't even know what my
Needs and wants are?
yes, exactly.
I like
Um,
that. I feel like it's kind of a hard grasp. I get what you mean about like, or I get what you mean by saying that it's you go back and take care of her, but that's really what you do. And you can say, I said it in one of my videos, like you can go back and heal her, you can go back and take care of, but it's like whatever you call it, whatever it is, it's
uh-huh.
like healing and feeling those old wounds. But no, I like that because I feel like this question is so like diverse to every single person of
You
like,
could go so many ways with
right?
this,
It's different
especially
for
you.
everybody.
I mean, you've helped me a lot, like I said, with that one. But yeah, that one's
It's a big one. It can go anyway.
yes.
Um, so I do have maybe two more.
Oh,
What advice would you give to your younger self that is grieving, that is going through whatever, like just picture something in your mind and a scenario. Like what would you
mhm.
give little Dianna in that moment? What advice would you give her?
I think the first thing I would say, I am just picturing myself in that room, just crying, and I can just say the first thing I would do is breathe. I know it's the most simplest thing that someone could say,
Mm,
but just breathing has really helped me within a year.
tremendous.
Like it's
Yeah.
I know people are like, what do you mean? We breathe every day. No, like
When you're in
do
distress, you
nothing.
hold your breath.
Yes, do nothing but breathe. I would tell her to do nothing but breathe
I love
and
that.
think of she can't change what's happening. She can't change what's going on. She's a kid, but what can she control herself for her to feel at peace? I think that's all I ever wanted as a kid. And I feel like it was so peace, just
Even now,
calmness,
I
just
just want peace.
calmness. I would say to just my biggest thing, my number one is just live in that moment. Just be present with what you're doing. Okay, you're in your room. You're sitting on your bed. Okay, you're sitting in your bed, relax. Like that's what you're doing right there. Whatever else is going on, that's exactly what you're doing. And
Mm.
it helps me get grounded. Even now,
Yeah,
when I'm having
being
bad days,
still.
exactly what
Mm.
I just explained, I have to do that. And it grounds me and it's a reset. And I'm like, okay, I could see better. I could sense things better. Like I'm at a calm stage to make decisions.
That just explained like your Virgo self, because
Yeah.
Virgos are an earth sign, and earth signs are really grounded. And
Okay,
I,
yes.
you have that advantage. I'm a Virgo moon, so but that Leo, that fire, really takes me. So learning to ground yourself and learning like the astrology behind it, like it
Yes.
shows you what you need to ground yourself, and that's really earth sign of you. Like that's really earthy
That's
to
awesome.
do that.
I love that. That's why I
And
like saying things like this to you because you come at me with these things and I'm like, ooh,
my
tell me
brain
more.
always goes
I know we
astrology.
could. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, she just knows it all.
And then brain. I love my brain. Um, I actually woke up today and I was like, thank you, brain. I was like, I always wake up in the morning like being grateful for something. And I woke up
Yes,
this morning and I'm like, thanks, brain. Because
I
I
know.
feel like we don't give thanks to a lot of little stuff.
I
Okay,
used to
so
wake up asking for things. Now I wake up giving thanks.
right.
That's it. That's it.
Okay, so the last thing, I think we still have a little bit of time.
Okay.
What is, or give us a book recommendation. I know you've been reading of
Ooh.
like so many stuff, so much stuff. What is
Uh,
one of the books that has changed that you like read it and you were like, this changed my life? What would you
So
recommend to everybody?
as soon as you said that, I could only, and it's almost a tie. I'm sorry, Crystal. I have to give you $2. So
Okay.
one would be the very first book that ever really spoke to me. And I have it right here. As soon as it's back here. We read here, guys. So it's The Four Agreements.
Yeah, I love
Um,
that word.
this book, I think everyone needs to read. And it's not a hard book to quite understand. I know it's a really good read. And I feel like this book should almost be read yearly. So it's time coming up again since I read it last year. I'm going to read it again. But that one's a really good book. And I know I've mentioned it to you, Crystal. And also The Power of Now.
That one's big.
That one is the reason why I live in the now. Right now, I'm recording with Crystal. That's all I'm doing. Whatever else is going on, but I am focused and my all is given to this video right now because
Yeah, it
I'm
really
living
helps
in the
you
now. You
have that
have to live in
mindset.
the now. That's life. And that's the best part about life is, I'm drinking my tea also. So it's those little things that mean everything to me, just in the now. But yeah, so I would say The Power of Now by the no I
Eckhart
forgot.
Tolle.
Yes, yes, yes. And then this one is by Don Miguel Ruiz. I would recommend those two books. I mean, we've read so many. The fear one, which what was that one called?
Oh, The Gift of Fear.
That one. I mean,
Good.
I could just keep going. There's a lot, but those two are my favorite that I would recommend. It'll really open your eyes, and they're a little deep. But I think you guys can do it. I think we can all do it.
We can all do it. I like that. Well, so thank you for recommending those books to us. Those are like, I don't know. I feel like anytime someone's like recommend your favorite book, I'm like, can I show you my little library? Because I learned something new from all of them. And
Agree.
I don't know. I just the one that we host a book club every month, a virtual one. So if you guys want to join, let me or Diana know, or send us a message. This month the book that we're reading, I actually really like it, and it's
Yeah.
becoming one of my favorites. I'm not gonna
Oh
say
my
the name
gosh.
yet, but
Right? I know. It's good. It's good.
it's becoming one of my favorites. It's really woman empowering, and
Yes. Yes.
I love it.
You know
An
us.
empowering woman. It's just like I love women. I love being a woman, and we do and go through so much. So what better way of appreciating us by reading this book? It's just
Amen.
like so. I can go off on so many topics, but I'll just end there. Do you have anything you want to say to them? Any wisdom words of Diana?
Wisdom words. I just want to say that I'm so thankful that I'm here today. Thankful for Crystal. Thankful for our hearts, for our brain, and everything that we share because it's truly something that we love to do. And we have a lot of plans together. And I know Crystal's doing amazing with this YouTube, and I can't wait to see what she does. And she's going to change lives. I know she helped me get up from my feet when I was acabada, done. My Spanglish will come out here. My one little word would be, it is in Spanish. It's vive tu presente, but it means live in the present. And that's what I could truly say and truly mean. I love everyone watching. And I'm always open all as well to talk. Let's talk mom things. Let's talk anything.
Yeah, if you want more like mom content, this girl over here. I can only say so much about motherhood. Like I don't know the full feeling of it, but I do know how it is to reparent myself. So
yes, no, and you send me things that are, that sometimes I forget you're not a mom. Because of how deep and detailed you get into it. So I'm thankful for that. But yeah, this was really fun. We'll have to do it again.
thanks for
Please let us
coming
know
to
what you guys honestly thought. We can talk about anything. We're out for it and we're here to help.
Yeah, if you have any questions for me or for Diana, go ahead and add them in the comments down below, and we'll answer whenever you guys have any questions about grief, about loss. We'll just end there. Me and Diana could talk for hours, but I'll just end it there. And then I know you watch my videos, Diana, but I love ending my videos on a prayer. And so, do you want to lead us on a prayer?
Yes. I can just, however
whatever you want to say.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, we are here with you today and we are thankful. And I just want to say that I am blessed to be here today. And me and Crystal give you thanks, and we give thanks to everyone watching. We hope that whatever was meant for anyone to hear in this video, that they heard it and that they felt it. Our intentions are always genuine and our soul talks for us. And I just want to say that We love you, and I love Crystal and everyone that watched. I'm really thankful for. Amen.
I love you, God. I love you, Snow. I love anybody watching this. And my favorite quote to end on, remember, every single day is a new opportunity to grow. And we're here, guys. If you guys need anything, send us a message, send me a message, and I'll just say bye.
Bye.